Good morning, off the bench sports family. We're here again on location, Donalsdonville High School, home of the Tigers. Um, hey, I want to make a little mini confession here, man. I've been to Donaldsonville 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first time ever really being on campus.
Okay.
You know, the farthest I've been is to the gym, and like it's nice, man. You guys got a nice field house, man.
Right. They take care of it, man.
So everyone, I want to introduce to you guys athletic director, head coach Brian Richardson. What's up, Coach?
Nothing, man. Loving it, man. Just having a good day, pretty day outside. Get ready to get back to work. That's all.
Hey, welcome to the Off the Bench Sports family, man. First time.
Yeah.
First time. So, like always, we're gonna ask you to give a bio of yourself. Okay. You can give as much or as little as you want, but you know we won't know everything. So, I always ask for everything. You know, I'm greedy. I want it all.
Yeah, we can't get you everything, though. We'll get you what we can, though.
Go.
Well, originally I'm born and bred here in Donalsdonville. You know, it has a unique situation about it. I played here at Donalsdonville High School. It's a great place to be, a family atmosphere. You spoke about our campus. It's like I say, it's a home atmosphere, man. We're a community school surrounded by neighborhoods. So that was always good growing up in Donalsdonville, you know. I played for Coach Jimmy Dykes here a few years ago. I'm a 1992 graduate of Donalsdonville High School. And from there, I went to the Southern University of Baton Rouge. I left there in 98, 99. And then went on to my first coaching job. Was of course, you did the Little League thing. You did the try to help out with the middle school thing, because coaching was a passion for me, being raised by coaches. I played for Coach Greg Hill, also Bill Jones. Those guys were father figures for me coming out of this community. You know, and I heard you speaking earlier about some of the challenges we have in this community, and those are some of the guys that helped me get out of or helped me through my situations here in this community. And you kind of feel obligated to give back, so that would kind of lured me into coaching. You know, and once I got here, like I said, my first real job coaching, I student taught at Southern Lab under Coach Eric Randall. And it's very funny. I'm about to play against his brother at Woodlawn, Marcus Randall. But he hired me on the staff as a student teacher first. Then we went on and I finished another semester there, coaching on his staff at the lab school. And we had great teams there, man. Marcus Spears, Darryl Hurst, I go on and on and on. And I learned a lot more from them than they learned from me, trust me. Yeah, that was a great experience over there at the laboratory school. And from there, the job at Donalsdonville opened up as an assistant, and Coach Bill Jones was the head coach. And he saw me. I came on a visit here, and he found I had graduated high school and college, and he said if I wasn't doing anything, man, he would love to hire me, man. And him and Richard Brown, rest his soul, man. Good dude. He found out too, man, and it wasn't a hesitation, man. He said you need to be back in your community and coaching at home. So I've been here the last 19 years, man, in Donalsdonville as an assistant. Started out as a defensive line coach, and pretty much went through the whole spectrum: wide receivers, running backs, everything. Then I became a coordinator under Coach Gary Atkins, and then finally Terrence Williams, and then Coach Benny Gilbo. He stayed for a while, and then at the end of his tenure, I decided to apply for the head coaching job. And wound up getting it, man. And it's been a heck of a ride ever since. You know, like I said, after 19 years, man. You know, you finally here being the head coach at your home school, so it's been great, man. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're also a master teacher.
Yeah.
You didn't think I knew that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I do a little homework too.
You definitely do some spy work, man. You work for the government, man. Because as always, we stress academics first here, and my principal hires teachers first before any coaches. So you want to make sure you're active in these classrooms and being in a TAP school. We have massive mentors and everything else in these classrooms. But Right now, I'm out of it right now though, but I have been filling those roles several times in the past.
I want to ask you this question. How how was it for you going from a guy that didn't have to worry about anything, just come in and coordinate or position coach kids, to becoming the athletic director, and now you're responsible for every kid's athletic and academic success?
Yeah, that is a huge swing, a huge responsibility, and like you said, going from those small groups. Now, don't get me wrong, they prepare you for the big picture, but it's nothing like when you get in there into it. Your roles expand 1,000 times, and I don't care if you're at a 1A school to a 6A school, keeping up with all the athletes and academics, and hey, you forgot about the concession stand, you forgot about the booster club, you forgot about all that stuff too. When you're responsible for that, that's a huge jump. And like I said, Coach Greg Hill, Coach Bill Jones, Benny Gilbo, these guys try to prep me for this. Eric Randall try to prep me for these things when I was coming up. So I was in a pretty good space with my transition, but it's nothing like hands-on experience, man. I got slapped in the mouth plenty of times with a lot of unexpected stuff, and it's just a work in progress, man.
Right. I talked to Coach Gabe Fertitta at Catholic High the other day, one day last week, I think it was, and he said that Coach Wine did so much for those guys when he was assistant that he didn't know all of the things that really entailed in being a head coach.
Right.
How was that for you once you took over the head coaching job here at DVille?
It was a transition, like I continually said. Those guys kind of prepped me for it because they gave me a lot of head coach responsibilities. They would let me draw up the practice plans. They would let me organize the bus trips. They would let me organize, like I said, I was already coordinating the on the field part of it. So they would give me those responsibilities. I was always told, Coach Richardson at Southern always told me, you want to prep your successor, you know what I'm saying, who's behind you, you know what I'm saying, you want to instill some values, some core values of whatever your program is about. You want to instill that into your successors and your assistant coaches. So that I feel that they kind of prepped me for it. It wasn't as, it was big, but it wasn't as much of a transition because they would get me ready for it my whole time.
Right. Mm-hmm. How many years have you been the head coach here at Donalsdonville now for football?
4. It's my
4 years.
Yes, sir.
So what was your first, do you remember your first game you coached?
Absolutely. First year was it was a really tested in your faith and everything else, man, because that was a flood year. Okay, Where the great flood hit, and I didn't know we were gonna have a season. Right. The trials and tribulations that Central Parish went through.
Right.
And we couldn't have a scrimmage. The jamboree was up for question. So my kids were all over the place because they were handling relatives. Some of their houses were flooded. Right. So my house, I lost my house, my house, and 3 cars in flood. So I couldn't get to Donalsonville. You know what I'm saying? I needed help to get down here. So I remember the first game. It was real. I had all this anxiety about playing, and Mr. David Alexander, the superintendent, he called me and told me, "Don't worry about that football stuff. Right. You worry about your family and your kids, okay? Before you start worrying, the rest of that's gonna be okay. Don't worry about that." So I remember that selling phone call from him and amongst other school board members, and that took a lot of pressure off my first game. So my first game really wasn't wasn't the end of the world for me. I had anxiety about it. I wanted to win. I'm a competitor, but we had so much other stuff going on that was bigger than football at the time.
Right, right. You get through your first season. What has been your thoughts and what guides you and drives you as far as how you make your scheduling for your season?
Oh, just we're student driven, man, and student and data driven. Whatever works best for the kids, you want to make sure they are in a place or a position to have some success. So therefore, that's the main thing. When we're scheduling, practice planning, anything, the class schedule we put them in, but we want to definitely set them up for having some success. So that's the main thing we try to do in everything we do. Make sure it's student driven in first.
What's been the thing that's brought you the most joy in your tenure here as head coach?
Oh, seeing my kids succeed, man. We had 100% graduation rate among athletes here at Donalsdonville High School, and seeing that, man, that's just it gets me emotional a lot of times because one guy who stands out just because he's an athlete is Stephon Solomon. He's the first person in his family to get a high school diploma. Forget college.
Right.
Get a high school diploma. And of course, he went on this last semester. He got his bachelor's degree from LSU.
Right.
You know, and then forget all the pro talk and all that stuff there. When I see stuff like that, it let me know that the Heavenly Father was working through Donalsdonville High School. Because one of my favorite sayings is, don't attribute what's being done through you to you. Okay, somebody with higher power is handling that, and definitely people like Stephon. And we do it every day for a bunch of kids, but he's just the most glaring. You're seeing our kids succeed on any level, pass a test, get off the bus straight, anything makes me happy.
Hey,
enjoy.
Well, when you know, again, I've gotten to have several conversations with Stephon. He's a really funny kid, and when you see him, you can't, you know, that 6'6", 6'7" frame, it glares on its own. Anything else he does really stands out in spotlights, man. And we, you know, we are definitely ascension proud of the accomplishments that Stephon has achieved since leaving here at Donalsdonville High School, man. It really is a big achievement. And the thing that I like to say in reference to that is that you haven't seen a tenth of what he's gonna do in life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because of the opportunities that he's been given.
Absolutely.
So all of that's gonna work out. How can you describe your fundamental coaching philosophies and which coach impacted your life the most?
Okay. I said that's a rough one because all of them are pretty. Yeah, I pull a little bit from all of them. You know, first thing is you got structure from Terrence Williams. He was here, man. He had the most organized practices you ever wanted to see. And so you try to pull that from him. You pull the discipline from Greg Hill. You know, you try your best to keep kids in line, hold them accountable, and make sure they're doing the right things. And you pull love from Bill Jones, man. Cause I saw. He was a coach in Donalsdonville, and he would pick up kids and bring them home. His little truck was a bus for kids who couldn't make it here, and he went through some rough time going through some unlikely neighborhoods back there, man. He was throwing stuff at his truck and all that stuff, and he would jump out, man, and call them cats out, you know. But he did it for love. He had to do that, man. He's not from here. And one of the kids he was bringing home every day, man, changed his whole situation from a high poverty situation. He's the executive at the oil company now, man, because he played here, and Coach Jones kept bringing him back. Graduated from UL, man, and makes more money. I try to borrow $5 from the other day. He makes money. Came home homecoming, man. Yeah. But I know that love that these three coaches showed helped that guy accomplish what he's accomplished today. So I take a little bit from all three of them, you know, and try to base my whole program, my day around those philosophies that those guys shared with me. You know.
I want to ask you this, and you're probably one of the best people to ask about this. I know when I moved here almost 20 years ago, when you bring up the name Donalsdonville High School, you cannot not mention White Castle and the legendary games and battles you guys have had, not just in football, but in basketball. How big is playing White Castle for you every year?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, because you missed a pretty good one Friday night. Tell you that, man. It went down to the wire. And I told my guys, those guys down there, they cut differently, man. That's a blue-collar town. And they're prideful, man, and they work harder. And they're just into what they're into, you know. But we're also prideful, too. We're a hard-working town, too. I said, when those two forces collide, it's going to be a great show. And Friday night, that's what they got, man. We bowed to the end. But if you came and saw that crowd, You came and saw that it was like a mini Spike Classic or something. White Castle fans went in the house, man. Donalsdonville, you couldn't get down the street down there.
Right.
You know, so when we got together, man, it was a family atmosphere. But when the ball kicked off, man, we went at it, man. Everything you want out of a high school football game. So it's essential that we play them every year, though, because to keep that thing rolling, man.
You guys, you're into your fourth season. You said that earlier.
Mm.
What were your thoughts when going into making this schedule this year? Like, you know, you've been through a class now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This your senior year.
Right. Exactly.
What have you learned most about your kids? What gives you motivation to say, hey, this is where we should be standing out and excelling in?
Okay. The most I've learned from my kids is their attention to detail and watching the kids that came before them. Okay, they see, and we mentioned Stephon already, they see some guys like that who have accomplished some things, and they want to follow the same footsteps they follow. The work ethic, the academics, the community involvement. So I watch my younger kids watch those classes. That's the main thing I watch out of them. So they're following the footsteps of those guys. So it makes my job a little easier, you know. But the other part of it is getting the rest of the team on board, the younger guys on board, and accepting a leadership role from what they've seen out of those older classes.
19 years.
Mm-hmm.
How long how long do you see yourself? You know, I'm gonna say this, and I hope that I'm right, but I just know how I feel.
Right.
Like my heart gets big, and you know, like I literally sometimes almost water up every time I go on a campus and I see a kid and I build a relationship with that kid. It makes me feel like I can do this for 50 more years.
Right.
You know, I don't even know if I'm gonna live that long, but I'm having so much fun doing what I'm doing.
Right.
How much longer do you want to do this?
It's funny. I feel the same way, man. Every time you have a rough day, man. You know, the same reason why you hate this job is the same reason why you love it. Now the kids,
right.
they make your day. So every time you have a rough day, man, one of them, you see one of them do something positive, man, and it rejuvenates you. You get another shot in the arm. You know what I'm saying? So you're ready to get back in the ring again, man, and help that other kid that's being good, and help out the kid that doesn't see it right now. Hoping he can figure it out. But but as you said earlier, your body don't let you know. I went to my doctor the other day, man. Over the summer, we get his yearly checkups, and stuff was hurting, man. My back hurt, my chest was hurting, and he's real funny, man. My doctor. So he called me in his office, and he said, "Guess what, Rich?" I said, "What's happening?" He said, "You got a terminal disease." Uh-oh. I get ready to call my mom, get ready to call my kids, and what's going on. You know, I said, "What is it, Doc?" He said, "It's called OLD, and one day it's gonna kill you." He said, so as long as my body allows me to, man, you know. But you only got 10 more till you retire. But for sure, trying to get 10 more out of the way, man, and see what how physically capable I am, be able to do some things, man, and take it from there. But at least try to hang out 10 more, at least for sure.
Hey, I knew a little bit about you. I did a little investigating on you, and I've learned a lot more about you today.
Okay.
Thank you for taking a moment with Off the Bench Sports. Continued success upon your football season and your coaching career. Keep giving all you got to our kids. I'm grateful. I love it when you guys give back. Makes my job a lot easier. Parting shouts.
Just thank you for coming out, man. I met you earlier. I saw you doing your thing, man. I was real proud of you, man. Everything you trying to accomplish out here, man. And I knew it was gonna be a first class deal, so I was waiting for you to come over, call me, man. I saw you at the basketball game doing your thing. I saw it was the first class, man. So you finally made it over here, man. Thank you for coming and follow us, and we'll definitely get you down over here for another Donalsdonville game. And Yo, go Tigers, man.
Go Tigers. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.